Imagine, you board plane with 200 people, plane takes off. Everything normal. Then plane vanishes from radar, no distress call, no emergency landing, no wreckage. Just gone. This not science fiction. This real life. Today, Caveman tell you about 10 planes that disappeared into thin air with all aboard. Buckle up, this journey into sky mysteries. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 2014 The Modern Ghost. March 8, 2014, Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur heading to Beijing. Boeing 777, one of safest planes ever built. Carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew, 239 people total. Families waiting in Beijing for loved ones who would never arrive. 40 minutes after takeoff, plane vanished from civilian radar. But military radar showed it made sharp left turn, completely off course. It flew back over Malaysia, then northwest up the Strait of Malacca. Then it disappeared beyond radar range. But here's the creepy part. For 7 more hours, the plane kept flying. Satellite data showed automated handshakes. The plane was still in the air, flying south over the Indian Ocean, heading nowhere. Someone, or something, was controlling that plane. FBI found Captain Zahari had practiced similar route on Home Simulator, then deleted the files. Theory? Captain deliberately depressurized cabin, passengers dead within minutes, he kept flying for hours. But why? Nobody knows. Malaysia launched biggest aviation search in history, 120,000 square miles of ocean floor, 8 years, millions of dollars. Found 27 pieces of debris on African shores, but the plane? The black box? The 239 bodies? Never found. 10 years later in 2024, still searching. MH370 remains greatest aviation mystery of modern era. Amelia Earhart, 1937. The legendary vanishing. July 2nd, 1937, Amelia Earhart was most famous pilot in world. First woman to fly solo across Atlantic Ocean. Now attempting to fly around world at equator, 29,000 miles. She flew with navigator Fred Noonan in twin-engine Lockheed Electra. Departed Oakland May 20th, 1937, flew through South America, Africa, India, Southeast Asia. June 29 arrived Lae, New Guinea, almost done, just 2,556 miles to Howland Island remaining. Howland Island tiny, only 1.5 miles long. Finding it like finding needle in Pacific haystack. Flight should take 18 hours, barely enough fuel, no room for error. U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca waited there with fuel. Earhart radioed at 7:42 am, "We must be on you but cannot see you, gas is running low." She circled, searching desperately. At 8:43 am came final message, "We are on the line 157337. Those numbers? Navigation coordinates running through Howland. Then, silence. Earhart and Noonan vanished. Navy launched massive search, 250,000 square miles of ocean. Nothing found. But here's where it gets weird. For days after, radio operators heard distress signals. Morse code CAC, Earhart's call sign. Messages saying above water. Theory? They landed on Nikomororo Island. Plane on reef sending signals for days, then tide washed it away. Navy flew over island on July 9, saw signs of recent habitation. But no people. In 1940, British found human skeleton on Nikomororo. Measured bones, said they were man's. Bones later lost. 1998 analysis of measurements? Bones likely belonged to woman of Earhart's size. Other theories? Japanese captured her, thought she was spy. Marshall Islanders claimed they saw American lady pilot in 1937. 87 years later, still searching. Amelia Earhart became legend, mystery never solved. Stardust 1947, the Stendeck mystery. August 2nd, 1947, British South American Airways flight Stardust took off from Buenos Aires. Destination: Santiago, Chile. Had to cross Andes Mountains, some of world's highest peaks. Avro Lancastrian aircraft converted World War II bomber. Pilot was decorated war veteran Reginald Cook. 11 people aboard, 5 crew, 6 passengers including 2 British businessmen, Palestinian businessman, German-born Chilean. Flight departed Buenos Aires 1:46 p.m., normal and on schedule. At 5:41 p.m., radio operator sent message to Santiago Airport. ETA Santiago 17:45 hours, 4 minutes until landing. Then came the final word, Stendek. Santiago radio operator confused. Stendek not real word, not aviation code. He asked for clarification. Stardust repeated, Stendek, Stendek. Loud and clear, sent 3 times. Then, nothing. Stardust never landed. Massive search found nothing. 51 years of mystery. Theories ran wild, aliens. Sabotage. Stolen gold. Nazi escape plot. 1998. Argentine climbers ascending Mount Tupungato found engine wreckage. Twisted metal, clothing shreds, Rolls-Royce engine parts. Stardust had crashed 50 miles east of Santiago, wrong direction. Investigation revealed truth, jet stream, poorly understood in 1947, blowing 200 mph headwind. Pilot thought he'd crossed mountains, but jet stream slowed him, he was still behind peaks. Stardust flew straight into Mount Tupungato at 24,000 feet. Avalanche buried wreckage in glacier ice for half-century. But what about Stendek? Theories, anagram of descent. Hypoxia scrambled letters, more spacing error, 77 years later, nobody knows. Stendek remains aviation's greatest unsolved code. Flying Tiger Line Flight 739, 1962, The Secret Mission. March 15, 1962, Cold War at its peak. Vietnam War just beginning, officially America not involved. Flying Tiger Line Flight 739 departed Travis Air Force Base, California. Lockheed Super Constellation military charter flight, carrying 93 U.S. Army Rangers. Elite jungle-trained soldiers. Electronics specialists, communications experts, sharpshooters, mostly in 20s. One was Donald Sargent from Maine, joined Army to escape poverty, told his mother, I gotta make a life for myself. Plus 3 South Vietnamese military personnel, 11 civilian crew. 107 people total. Mission, secret. Officially going to train Vietnamese troops. Really? Nobody knows. Records sealed by government. Plane made stops. Hawaii, Wake Island, Guam. Minor delays, minor maintenance, nothing serious. Departed Guam at 12:57 p.m. heading to Philippines, carrying fuel for nearly 10 hours of flight. At 2:22 p.m., pilot radioed position 280 miles west of Guam. All is well. Weather clear, seas calm, everything normal. Next scheduled check-in, 3:30 p.m. 3:30 came. No radio call. Tower tried contacting Flight 739. Silence. Flight 739 declared missing March 16. But then came shocking report. Liberian tanker SSTL Linzon saw something 90 minutes after last contact. Bright flash in sky, strong enough to light ship's decks. Crew saw vapor trails, 2 fireballs falling into ocean. Tanker rushed to location, searched 6 hours. Found nothing. Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines launched biggest peacetime search ever. 200,000 square miles of Pacific Ocean. 8 days searching. Not one piece of debris. Not one oil slick. Not one body. 107 people vanished like they never existed. In Cornish, Maine, cab driver delivered yellow telegram, Secretary of Army regrets your son was aboard aircraft reported missing. Same story repeated 106 times across America, families destroyed. Here's what makes it sinister. Same day, another Flying Tiger plane crashed in Alaska. Also a super constellation, also carrying secret military cargo. Sabotage? Cold War attack? In 1962, Russian trawlers were near Guam. Family members believe surface-to-air missile shot it down. U.S. government? Silent for 62 years. Families tried adding names to Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Government said no, not in combat zone. But it was combat. March 15, 1962, officially first day of Vietnam War campaign. Government won't admit it because that proves America involved years before official story. All personnel records? Scrubbed by Department of Defense. Freedom of Information requests? Denied. 2022, families finally got memorial in Maine. But government still won't tell truth. What really happened to Flight 739? America's dirty secret. Frederick Valentich, 1978, The UFO Encounter. October 21, 1978, 20-year-old Frederick Valentich was flying solo over Bass Strait, Australia. He was flying a Cessna 182L from Melbourne to King Island. Experienced pilot, 150 flight hours logged, clear night with good visibility. At 7:06 p.m., Valentich radioed Melbourne Flight Service. Is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet? Controller said no. Radar showed no other aircraft. Valentich, there is a large aircraft below 5,000. It's coming for me right now. He described metallic object with green light flying at impossible speed. It's orbiting on top of me. It's got a green light and sort of metallic. Shiny. His engine started coughing and sputtering. Final transmission 7:12 p.m. That strange aircraft is hovering on top of me again. Then, 17 seconds of metallic scraping sounds recorded on radio. Then, silence. Frederick Valentich never heard from again. Massive search found nothing. No wreckage, no oil slick, no body. His father believed UFO abducted him. Skeptics say he got disoriented, flying upside down, saw own reflection in water. But that doesn't explain the metallic scraping sounds. 46 years later, Frederick Valentich remains missing. British South American Airways Star Tiger, 1948. January 30th, 1948. Remember British South American Airways from Stardust disaster? Same cursed airline, just 6 months later. Avro Tudor 4 aircraft Star Tiger departed Azores heading for Bermuda, carrying 25 passengers and 6 crew, 31 people total. Among passengers, Air Marshal Sir Arthur Conyngham, famous World War II commander. Flight going smoothly. Weather good. At 3:15 a.m., Captain radioed position report. Weather and performance excellent. Expect to arrive on schedule. 380 miles from Bermuda, should land in few hours. That was last anyone heard from Star Tiger. No distress call, no emergency signal, nothing. U.S. and British forces searched 200,000 square miles of Atlantic for 5 days. Not one piece of debris, not one life jacket, not one oil slick. Official investigation concluded no more baffling problem has ever been presented. 31 people vanished into Bermuda Triangle. Star Tiger never found, mystery never solved. British South American Airways Star Ariel 1949. You won't believe this. Same airline again. Exactly 1 year and 17 days after Star Tiger vanished. January 17, 1949, sister ship Star Ariel departed Bermuda heading for Kingston, Jamaica. Another Avro Tudor 4, same model as Star Tiger. Carrying 13 passengers and 7 crew, 20 people aboard. Captain J.C. McPhee, experienced pilot, flew this route many times. Took off at 8:41 a.m., perfect flying weather. At 9:42 a.m., Captain sent routine position report. I have reached cruising altitude, fair weather, expected arrival as scheduled. That was last contact with Star Ariel. Plane never radioed again, never arrived in Jamaica. Another massive search found nothing. British South American Airways couldn't survive this. 3 planes lost in 2 years. Stardust, Star Tiger, Star Ariel. Airline shut down in 1949, absorbed by BOC. 20 more souls lost to Bermuda Triangle mystery. Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 2501, that 1950. June 23, 1950. Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 2501 took off from New York heading to Seattle. Douglas DC-4 aircraft carrying 55 passengers and 3 crew. 58 people total. Captain Robert Lind, experienced pilot with thousands of flight hours. Scheduled stop in Minneapolis, then continuing to Seattle. Around midnight, plane was flying over Lake Michigan through severe thunderstorms. Captain requested altitude change, but air traffic control denied. Too much traffic. At 12:13 a.m., Milwaukee received garbled transmission. Asked pilot to repeat. No response. Morning came, fishermen found debris floating in Lake Michigan. Seat cushions, luggage, bits of fuselage scattered across water. Bodies and body parts washing ashore for days. But the main wreckage? Never found. Lake Michigan is deep, 923 feet at deepest point. The bulk of planes sank and disappeared. 2008, 2004, 2015, multiple expeditions searched with sonar. Found shipwrecks, found cars, but no Flight 2501. 74 years later, main wreckage still missing somewhere in Lake Michigan. PAN-M Flight 7, 1957 Romance of the Skies. November 8, 1957, Pan American World Airways Flight 7 nicknamed Romance of the Skies. Boeing 377 Stratocruiser flying San Francisco to Honolulu. Luxurious aircraft with sleeping berths, dining lounge, even cocktail bar. Carrying 36 passengers and 8 crew, 44 people total. Among passengers, William Patterson, famous cellist traveling with his priceless 1730 Stradivarius cello. Also aboard, several U.S. military personnel on leave. Departed San Francisco 11:51 a.m. should take about 9 hours to Hawaii. Everything normal for first few hours, then plane missed scheduled position report. Coast Guard tried contacting, no response. 3 days later, November 14, Navy spotted debris 90 miles north of Hawaii. Floating wreckage, bodies in the water. They recovered 19 bodies over next few days. But here's the mystery. What caused the crash? No distress call, no mayday, plane just fell from sky. Investigation found evidence of fire before impact. Carbon monoxide in victims' blood, burns on some bodies. Theory? Fire broke out mid-flight, spread fast, incapacitated crew. Pilot tried emergency descent but too late. Some believed sabotage, insurance fraud, murder plot. Investigation inconclusive, exact cause never determined. Romance of the Skies became Tragedy of Pacific. Egyptair Flight 804 2016. May 19, 2016, this one recent, just 8 years ago. Proves plane disappearances still happen in modern era. Egyptair Flight 804, Airbus A320, departed Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport at 11:09 p.m. Destination, Cairo, Egypt. Should be simple 4-hour flight across Mediterranean. Carrying 56 passengers and 10 crew, 66 people total. Passengers from 12 different countries including Egypt, France, Iraq, Britain. Flight proceeded normally, entered Egyptian airspace at 2:27 am. Egyptian controller greeted pilot at 2:29 am, pilot responded normally. 2 minutes later, controller tried calling again, no response. Flight 804 vanished from radar at 37,000 feet. Hours later, debris found 180 miles north of Alexandria. Life vests, passenger seats, luggage, human remains. June 2016, deep-sea search vessel found main wreckage at bottom of Mediterranean, 10,000 feet deep. Black boxes recovered after month of searching. But here's where it gets controversial. French investigators found traces of explosives on wreckage. Suggested terrorism, bomb on board. Egyptian investigators said no. Technical failure, cockpit fire. Data showed smoke in lavatory, then smoke in avionics bay. Egypt blamed technical fault. France suspected terror attack. To this day, countries can't agree on what happened. 66 people dead, families still demanding truth. You see pattern now? 10 planes, hundreds of people, all vanished. MH370, 239 souls, modern Boeing, gone. Earhart, most famous pilot ever, 87 years missing. Stardust, Stendek never decoded. Flying Tiger 739, government cover-up for 62 years. Valentich, it's not an aircraft then vanished. Star Tiger and Star Ariel, same airline, both gone. Northwest 2501, Lake Michigan keeps its secrets. Pan Am 7, romance became tragedy. Egypt Air 804, modern mystery, countries can't agree what happened. Some mysteries solved decades later, most never explained. What happened in those final moments? Did pilots know they were doomed? Families wait forever for answers that never come. Chinese families of MH370 still gather every March 8, crying, demanding truth. Donald Sargent's family fought 60 years for memorial. No bodies to bury, no closure, just endless questions. You know what scariest part is? It still happens. MH370 was 2014, Egypt Air was 2016, recent history. Modern technology didn't prevent it. When plane falls into empty ocean far from land, it might stay lost forever. Next time you fly, remember these stories. Remember the hundreds who boarded planes and never came home. This caveman signing off, Sky holds secrets that Earth will never know. Share these stories, honor the lost, never forget. Caveman out.